Hello, worldies. Welcome and welcome back to my naughty little channel. I hope you're feeling amazing. Today, I wanted to come on and make kind of an introduction or maybe even a backstory for my channel. So let's call this Why World's origin story, if you will, which is actually my first point. If you didn't know, my channel name is pronounced Why World. And why is that? Today, I want to start all the way at the beginning, which oddly enough, and you're going to get to see how my mind works, it starts at the end of the Moana movie. So, my first time watching Moana, I was watching it on my ex boyfriend's grandma's Netflix, back when Disney movies were still on Netflix. I was watching it alone, and for whatever reason, the entire movie just made me want to sing forever and ever because every song, first of all, on that soundtrack is a bop. One of my favorite scenes ended up being, and it honestly has to this day remained, when Moana orders the sea to part and allow Te Kā to come to her. She sings to her, which I'm not going to sing it, I'm just going to say it. Oh, should I sing it? I have crossed the horizon to find you. I know your name. They have stolen the heart from inside you. But this does not define you. This is not who you are. You know who you are. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. These words struck me so deeply years ago, but it would be years and years and years and years and years before I would well, I don't want to say that many years, I'm not that old, but I feel like Disney movies were on Netflix a long time ago. This was easily like 7 years ago, so it was a long time ago. And well, to me that's a long time, but it took me a long time to really understand why. Like, you ever, like, you feel like something kind of really sticks out to you almost on like a spiritual level, and you're like, oh my god, why does this seem so significant to me? That's kind of how it felt for me. And I ended up returning to it. I'm not the type of person who could just let that go. Like, I will literally put a note in my phone, I'll email myself or something, and like just make a note of something. Like, if I have a certain dream, I'm literally so woo-woo to the point where I need to know. If it's feeling like something to me, I'm gonna check it out because I know that there's a message for myself in there. And that has actually happened before. Oh my god, I have a story time to tell about that. I'm not like hardcore woo woo, but I will say that a lot of it is backed by science, and if it works, it works. So, if you know me, there's one thing I love in this world, and it is videos with skinny white nerds and ancient mythology. Just, I don't know, it just does something to me. I love those. I love those videos of like John Solo. Who else do they have? The what is it? I can't remember. It's not the cinematographers or something. Maybe it's MatPat or something like that. It's this other channel. It's like all of those Disney theory movies, or movie channels. I love those where they're like, oh, this is, what the origin story of Snow White was. I love stuff like that because I feel like if you're a conspiracy theorist on, like, at least even on a small level, those types of videos might end up being right on your alley because it's essentially like, this movie's not just about this, it's really about this, it's got this deeper meaning. And to me, that's like kind of like a Disney conspiracy. So I love stuff like that. It's just so, it, man, especially when you're inebriated, then it's just perfect to just be like, whoa, and have those high thoughts. But I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about why I'm like this. I don't know why I'm wired this way and that I love this type of stuff. I think It's because I just love people who think and they analyze. Because I say, like, in this society, we kind of make overthinking a bad thing. So I love when people use that overthinking ability as a superpower and actually like a gift. Love it. So subscribe if that's you too, because I kind of see myself that way. I pride myself on being an overthinker and thinking deeper on things than other people might. And I want this channel to be a place where I use that as a gift and as something to bring value to my audience. So to me, those lyrics represent Moana essentially saying to Te Kā, I feel that it's very important for you to know, like, I crossed the entire ocean to come to you and let you know that I'm not afraid of you anymore, but rather that I see you clearly. Now, Maui, he definitely stole your heart. He was on some other stuff. I totally get that. When he came over this way to steal that from you, I see that everything over here, my island as well, everything was blooming and fertile and gorgeous because Te Fiti was here, giving so freely to our land. Not only was she so beautiful just to look at and to behold, but she took it upon herself to share her gifts, her beauty with us all. And what did she return? What did she receive in return for being so nurturing and caring? Her heart was stolen, which to me, if you really think about that, that is so deep. Like, I'm telling you, that's why I love that movie. Many of us know what it's like to have the weight of the world on our shoulders. None of us asked to be born. And honestly, no matter how pretty you are, no matter if you're the baddest exotical and you're stacking your privilege, there can be times in your past, in your life, where life just got kind of rough. There may have been pain or heartache, poverty in this world in general. There's greed, there's famine, there's war and destruction. And it can be very easy to lose your way and get lost in this huge world. I am a firm believer that the body keeps the score. And I feel like none of us are exempt from this, not even Te Fiti, the goddess of fertility and creation, the spirit of life for the ocean and the islands. To protect herself from the trauma of having her most prized possession stolen, her heart, she became someone that no one would dare steal from. Te Kā, who actually appeared in the creator's original concepts as Te Po, meaning the dark one, in Maori, which I think is the language that they speak, maybe in Polynesia. I didn't do too much research on that part, on the language part, but I believe that's what they speak. It's an actual language. The name that we know her as means the burning one, and she is the physical, emotional, and spiritual manifestation of Te Fiti's pain and sorrow. The two spirits are opposite forces, where the once abundant and fertile goddess is now causing death, destruction, and famine. Te Kā is Te Fiti's protective alter ego, and Moana is brave enough to stand still as an angry lava monster literally runs up to her. She tells her that you are not who your trauma turned you into. This doesn't define you. I get it. Maui hurt you. You threw lava and you screamed at us. Like, she's like, you know what? I get it. She's like, hey, that was terrifying, but also valid. Like, if you were doing everything that Te Fiti was doing, some of you have even been in situations where you've been turned into somebody else by your trauma. You were like Te Fiti, just given freely, being abundant, being a nurturer, being caring. And then somebody stole something from you, whether it was they betrayed you, they physically stole something from you. I feel like even in this movie, her most prized possession, stealing her heart, could even be seen as a metaphor for graping her. Like, as a woman, a lot of times you're taught that your virtue is your most prized possession, and she stole it. And that sometimes I think it's easy for us to say, it's hard. We're like, we want to be feminine, we want to be nurturing and caring and everything. We definitely don't want to be masculine, this, that, and the third. However, sometimes when you go through trauma, you can end up a certain type of way in order to protect yourself, because you feel like, I don't want to be somebody that people would even want to look at. They would even want to touch. They would even want to do, sometimes you can feel like that. In real life, I do think that that's how a traumatized person would act, like kind of how Taka, formerly Tefiti, was acting, like throwing the lava and screaming. Like, if you've ever worked with mental health patients or something like that, like there's this one girl that I follow. What's her name? Anessa, I want to say. I don't remember her last name, but she is Bengali. She's married to a Hindu man, and her platform is her talking, I want to say, about working in the medical field, as well as how she healed from an old, a previous relationship where she was a victim of domestic violence. And she ended up working, I want to say, in the psych ward or something with those kids. And she talked a lot about just kind of how they would act sometimes. So, to all of you watching, can you remember what you used to be like before whatever happened to you happened to you? I don't know where you are right now, but some of you may be still in that place. Can you be brave like Moana and really stand before yourself and really look at who you've become as a result of your fears or your traumas? Have you become lazy because you fear success? Because at some point somebody tried to sabotage you, or somebody hated on you or something. You said, you know what, if I didn't have an enviable spot, then nobody would be trying to sabotage me. I'll just be lazy and nobody will ever envy me. Or did you become the person who's envious? Did you become a hater, or did you even become a big back? You know, I talk a lot about big backery because there actually is a deeper meaning to me speaking about that. I do actually believe that um, for women, if, and I would say in men as well, but it is actually something that they found. I'm gonna say allegedly because I'm not pulling up any stats or any statistics, but I believe that they did find at some point, they being scientists, people who like study that stuff, that if you are a victim of like some sort of like sexual violence or something, it a trauma response can be keeping excess weight on the body, literally to try to protect yourself, literally to say, don't touch me. It's harder to touch me. It's harder to get to my sacred place because there's literally more weight blocking you from there. And that's really sad that that is actually what happened to some people. You listening, that may have even happened to you. And I don't want you to think I just hate you because you're big or something like that. This is so you kind of understand why world just a little deeper. So if I ever come off a little out of pocket and you're like, oh my God, this is kind of my origin story of why this content is important to me to make. Sometimes you may have actually gained weight to try and protect yourself. You may have turned to food, addiction, or even being a hater to cope with your inner demons. That is like real human stuff. We'd all love to say, oh yeah, I've never been jealous and I've never been a hater and I've never binged on food and I've never had an unhealthy coping mechanism. Yeah, bruh. I'd love to be like that, but that's really just not realistic. This is real life. Real life before the glow up, before the soft life, before you became high maintenance. You might have been dusty. You might have been a big back. You might have been traumatized and angry and whatever. Okay. And I just want you to know that there is a way to turn your life around. In fact, it's okay to have been in that place before, and it's never too late to turn your life around. You just have to be like our Polynesian baddie friend Moana and restore your heart. For me, finding my why made all the difference. It was my inspiration to get out of my own way. And if you don't know, I've actually been able to lose 50 pounds without the gym, all natural, no Ozempic or anything. And it's helped me feel better, improve my mental health, and really address my inner demons and cope with them in healthier ways. It seems to me that why is a question many people are afraid to ask. In our society, we criticize each other for overthinking as if it's like a moral failing that you are not afraid to ask questions and freely think as deeply as you want to about something. In general, if you are an overthinker and you struggle with this, I want you to this is something that helped me. It may have been a YouTube video, or I don't know, 'cause I love YouTube, but it was somebody talking about overthinking, and they were like, okay, so we talk about overthinking, but at what point does it become overthinking? Like, is there like a definition or a manual that comes to, okay, if you're going to think about this thing for 2 minutes, it's regular thinking. But once you get to 2 minutes and 1 second, now it's overthinking. Or if you have 5 thoughts about it, it's just regular thinking. But once you have 10 different ideas about it, 10 different thoughts, oh my God, that's overthinking now. And you're just crazy. Like, it is really so arbitrary. And a lot of times, people are really telling you that you're overthinking when they're trying to hide you from something, because overthinking is something that happens in your own mind. It's your own internal sense of analysis. So it doesn't really hurt other people for you to overthink. That's how we as humans have to make decisions for ourselves. We have to weigh out the pros and the cons and the what ifs and stuff like that. And I would say maybe you could call it overthinking if it's getting to the point where it is like a detriment or you're getting stuck. But I would say that overthinking is no longer going to feel like such a heavy burden and like a flaw of your inner psyche or something like that if you turn it into a gift. If you learn how to actually not be afraid of your own mind, many people are actually going to be envious of that because their mind is actually a place they have to escape. I don't mind spending 20 minutes in my own mind because I don't feel the need to escape my mind. I try to stand on my convictions. I freely allow myself to take in new information and change my mind if it fits the situation. And I'm not living in a constant state of cognitive dissonance. I'm not over here trying to be on a moral high ground while I'm secretly trying to attain social power or beauty or wealth or something. I'm like, nah, there's privileges. Some of them I might not ever have. Some of them I could get, and like, hey, you could think it's selfish or it's vain or it's whatever, but I want it and you're not going to stop me from getting it. And I mean, hey, it's a better use of my time than being a hater. Like half the other people, it's like, hey, why not just admit that pretty privilege is a thing and say that you want it and just work on getting it instead of just hating on the girl who has it? Why not just admit that thin privilege is a thing and that maybe you want it and work on getting it instead of being like, man, beauty standards and the male gaze, I'm being fat because I'm a rebel and I'm a feminist. Like, okay, girl, if that, go off, sis, but don't expect all of us to fall in line and want to join your little pity party, okay? That's just me. My channel is encouraged in general to get you to think and to ask yourself the hard questions about the things that you see and you feel. Find something to be passionate about, even if that passion is simply asking why and trying to figure things out. If it weren't for a whole lot of somebody's thinking really deeply and overthinking, we wouldn't have things like electricity or YouTube or the quadratic equation, airplanes, etc. Because thoughts matter. Your thoughts matter. You matter enough to think about yourself and to spend time figuring out yourself, figuring out, your preferences, your desires, your passions, your personality traits, your body, your decorations in your home, the way you want to do your makeup, your life mission. You are important enough for that, especially as women. We used to not even be allowed to read, or else we'd be called a witch and burned at the stake. Now, why is that? Because you're just so valuable. Your literacy, your time, your thoughts are so powerful that they were demonized. Other people, maybe it was patriarchy, wanted to be able to exploit your gifts. They didn't want you to be able to look at words and read them for yourself. It was meant so that they could tell you whatever that said. They could tell you what was in the Bible. They could tell you what was in the Quran. Now, as a woman, hopefully, you're literate. You can read. And nobody's going to burn you at the stake if you read a book. Nobody's going to burn you at the stake if you decide to become an intellectual, a student, a scholar, a philosopher, an overthinker. You can't burn me at the stake for being an overthinker. I'm going to make me a YouTube. I'm going to make me some money. I'm going to make a whole brand off of this thing that people have actually criticized me for in the past. But if you see some of the most successful YouTubers, they're the overthinkers, the analyzers. Some of my favorite content to watch is people overanalyzing. Yeah, I love that stuff. It's powerful. Your mind is a powerful thing. Your thoughts and your mind, they're just so powerful, and you can really use them for, yeah, your own selfish ambitions, like wanting to experience peace, wanting to experience joy, just like Te Fiti. So, what's my point about all of this? I will say it again. And you can even turn this into a mantra if you need to. You are not who your trauma turned you into. You're not childish or evil for being changed by the very impactful things you've been through. But love yourself enough to hold space for both the ways that you've become destructive, like Taka, maybe even out of sheer necessity, and the things about yourself that are beautiful and fertile and abundant, like Te Fiti. Have the courage, like Moana, to examine your inner darkness, the parts of yourself and the parts of your past that you're not super proud of. You don't tell people about them on a first date or on, a job interview or on a resume, right? You might not ever want people to know these things about yourself. But the way that you take away the power from people finding out those things about yourself is you cope with them. You look them in the eye and you come to terms with, yeah, I did that. Yeah, I've been through that. And what? I love every single version of myself. I know that I'm not defined by this choice I made or this trauma that I've been through or who I became as a result of coming into contact with this trauma. It did change me for a while, but you know what? I have the power to change myself again. And maybe I don't want to be that person that I was before, but you know what? I'm not going to be ashamed of that person either. I'm going to love that person that I was before too. Just like how Moana allowed Te Kā to rest her head on hers, love on the past broken version of yourself, even if today is day one, even if you are starting today and saying, I no longer want to be so fearful. I don't want to be filled with this anger anymore. I don't want to be anxious or depressed or overweight or soul tied, dealing with suicidal ideation. I don't want to be envious. I don't want to be gluttonous. I don't want to be an addict or promiscuous or lazy or feel defeated. Think of some way that darkness can be used to propel you forward, and even sit with yourself and decide, are there certain times that I do need some of that destructive energy? Maybe you're going to still need your inner Te Kā when it is time to burn the bridge, because sometimes it's time. You can even get fed up and imagine yourself throwing lava at your ties to what no longer serves you. Sometimes you have to get sick and tired of being sick and tired. Burn your bridges to processed food, doom scrolling, the people who hurt you, and even those who preyed on your downfall. And let them see you shine. And when you've learned to love the parts of yourself that can be destructive, you will make space to let in new things. And just like Te Fiti, you can start to step into your goddess power. You'll be able to create and bring things to your physical reality like it's nothing. I don't know about you, but in my life, it's possible to say, just like our Italian queen Ariana Grande said, I want it, I got it. So what do you think, ladies? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, eyes on the prize.